Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of it. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, but we will be diving into a different tarot deck for each side of the connection. Do remember these are general readings. They will not resonate fully for everyone. So please remember to take what resonates and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, these energies can be absolutely swapped. So if you resonate more with the energy to my right than to my left, or if you're a cross watcher, then vice versa, that's totally fine and totally normal. Like I said, kind of take what helps you and leave what doesn't. Any information on the extended reading for this reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. All right, Scorpio. On your side of this connection, you have shadow with the Three of Wands in reverse. Okay. This connection is poking at your shadow, and it has been for a while. Your shadow is going to be that unhealed side of you. We've all got it. Where, kind of more of your fears, insecurities, doubts, trauma, all of that kind of hides. And this connection in particular was like put into your life to help you with this shadow in a way. But I don't exactly know how yet. Because the Three of Wands in reverse can be an energy of like being pushed out of your comfort zone. So maybe that's what this connection did, is maybe it really pushed you out of your comfort zone. And that kind of led to being pretty triggered. Now, this person, they have protection with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like you are actually being protected from this person's energy in some way, shape, or form. Because with the Six of Pentacles in reverse, this person, I don't know if they ever reciprocated your energy. I don't know if they gave as much as you gave or if they invested into this connection as much as you did. And I feel like that within itself is what really kind of triggered that shadow. But then maybe if, say, they were the ones to walk away from the connection, or if you feel like they betrayed you or whatever the case is, that can even like further trigger that shadow. And so I do feel like on a spiritual, like metaphysical level, the universe is protecting you from this person in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I don't think this connection is currently together. I feel like this is a past connection of some sort. And between this connection, there is jealousy with the devil. I do feel like, so this jealousy energy, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's like an immature jealousy. It feels like you're very much looking at this and you're like, man, like you came into my life, you hurt me real bad, and then you just walked out like nothing happened. And I feel like maybe there's a level of jealousy of being like, how are you so unfazed? Or how have you been able to move on? Or something like that. I don't know. I feel like there's more to it than that, though, because I feel like there's this devil that keeps this connection kind of attached to each other. This is being kind of like an energy of like codependency, or an energy of like even like emotional addiction to the connection. If that resonates with you, I'm not sure, but this devil is definitely blocking you from being able to fully, I don't know if you're wanting to like release this connection for good or not, but I do feel like you want to be in a better place than you are now. And I feel like that's been very challenging for you. Nose is really itchy right now. All right, this is for Scorpio's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Scorpio's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. One more. This is Scorpio's side of the connection. All right. Oh, that plane is really loud. I don't know if you guys can hear that. All right, this is Scorpio's side of this connection. Scorpio's side of this connection. So there you are. The King of Cups with the Star in reverse. It feels like you've had a really hard time healing from this. Maybe you feel like you can't. because here's the Three of Wands again. I mean, you have it in reverse right there, but it's coming out here. It feels like you haven't been able to make peace with this. And maybe it's because the way this person treated you and the way that this connection ended, it left you like maybe confused, or it affected, like it has to do with the shadow. Like maybe it left you feeling like super not good enough, or just super heavily triggered, which is making it really hard for you to let it go. But I do feel like with the Star in reverse, like you're having, because this King of Cups, I'm pretty sure this is you, whether you're male or female. And I feel like you're having a really hard time fully healing from this and moving forward. It's like you're stuck in it. You're stuck in this connection, even if it isn't still together. This is Scorpio's side of this connection. Scorpio's side of this connection, please. Scorpio's side of the connection. Right. Tower, Justice, Five of Wands, and then this Nine of Swords is poking out. Ooh, with the Empress in reverse. And this Five of Wands. Okay. Okay. Oh, and then there's that Six of Pentacles in reverse. Could be dealing with a fire sign. Gemini, Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius. Maybe you're dealing with Gemini. Yeah, this Tower with the Justice. I feel like things in this connection fell apart very suddenly. I don't feel like it was maybe it kind of was a long time coming. Maybe you felt it on like a subconscious level that things were kind of, headed in that direction. But I feel like the ending itself, if there was one, or this is just like, yeah, I don't feel like these two energies are together like at all. I feel like they're very separate. So I don't think this connection is currently in your life. So this could be about a past connection that's keeping you from being able to fully invest in a current connection. But I feel like you, with the Justice here, it feels like you haven't gotten, you've done a very good job, I feel like, of taking accountability for how things fell apart. But I feel like you feel as if this person has not done a good job at that. And I feel like that brings up a lot of frustration for you. Now, with the Nine of Swords and the Five of Wands, I feel like the conflict that existed, or maybe still exists, in this connection, it really stems from the fact that these two energies poke heavily at each other's insecurities. And I feel, Scorpio, as if you felt in this connection like you had to sacrifice a lot of your own needs and values and boundaries, maybe even, in order to make this work. And I feel like you feel as if you did everything you could. Like, it's like you can take accountability and be like, yeah, I see where I went wrong, but I also feel like I did everything I could. And you feel like this person, didn't. Which is interesting. Scorpio's side of this connection to the person they're dealing with. This is Scorpio's side of this connection. It's like you're still trying to make sense of this connection in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, the Emperor in reverse, Page of Wands, or Page of Wands, and then Six of Swords in reverse. Kind of got the rug ripped out from underneath you here. And maybe that's why I knew that was going to happen. I didn't think I put that on silent. Sorry. And maybe it feels like because that happened, and in the way that it happened and the intensity behind it, it feels like that's why you're so stuck in it. Like, you're still trying to make sense of what happened. Like, kind of like it happened and you've had time to process it, but it feels like you still don't understand what went down. Like, maybe this person left you with being like, what the hell? Like, what went wrong, or where did I go wrong, or I don't know, something like. See, but then you have these two energies, the Page of Wands and the Emperor in reverse. I feel like this person was very controlling. They had a very controlling energy. I feel like they brought a level of like trying to control you to the table. And I feel like because of that, it's like you felt like you could never be good enough. And often when people do try to control someone else, you're never going to be able to live up to their standards because they're trying to get something out of you that isn't really like possible for any human to give another human, right? And so I do feel like maybe they were very controlling and you felt like you could never live up to these like expectations that they might have had of you, or not even necessarily expectations, or like it just felt like you weren't good enough for them in some way, shape, or form. Now I don't think that's the case, but that's what it felt like because of the way that these energies interacted with each other. So I feel like you've spent a lot of time trying to figure out where you went wrong, what you did wrong, or what, like why you weren't good enough. And I feel like that's gotten you really deep into this shadow aspect of you. See, but then there's the Devil in reverse. Oh, it's the Devil upright. So there is still kind of, you have this attachment to this connection. Like even if you don't want to, even if you want to be able to free yourself from it, you have this attachment to it. All right, Scorpio side of this connection. So Scorpio side of this connection. You're hanging on. I don't think you want to. Maybe you do. High Priestess in reverse. Okay, hang on. I want more of this. Hangman in reverse with the High Priestess in reverse. It's like this connection threw you into a darkness, and you're having a really hard time navigating your way out of that darkness. Because there's the Emperor in reverse and the Knight of Wands in reverse. I feel like you put a lot into this connection with the hopes that this person would eventually return the favor. Maybe you were really there for them at a time when they really needed you, and or like you were very supportive of like them, or you were always there for them or showed up for them or did things for them. And it feels like that was never reciprocated. Now, I feel like you did that thinking that eventually that person would step up and provide you with that same level of energy. And it feels like you did so much for this person and so much in this connection that there's a part of you that feels like if you did so much and it still didn't like work out, or like this person still like chose a third party, and I'm not saying they did, I don't see that, but like I'm just giving examples, like if they chose a third party, or if they, you know, walked away, or if they just never reciprocated and you couldn't take it anymore, so you moved on. I feel like you're left or trying to move on. I feel like you're left trying to figure out like what you could have done, like what else you could have done. But I'm pretty sure the answer is nothing, because I don't think it has anything to do with what you did or didn't do in this connection. And I think we'll see more of that when we dive into that person's energy. But it has. I mean, you have the Hangman in reverse with the Six of Swords in reverse. Like these are two energies of like being stuck and feeling like you can't let this go. And it's because of the shadow aspect. It's because of the insecurities that are being triggered through this connection. And the Devil that exists here too. This person's energy, or Scorpio's energy toward this person. Scorpio's energy toward this person. Scorpio's energy toward this. Ooh. Nine of Pentacles in reverse. That came out upright, but then immediately flipped over. It's definitely in reverse. King of Wands in reverse. And this is upright. This is Eight of Swords. Okay, yeah, because there's that Devil, Page of Wands, and Eight of Swords. Okay. There is a reason that you still feel very attached to this connection. There's a reason that you haven't been able to move on. And it has less to do with this person and more to do with the energy that is triggered between you and this person. You have certain limiting beliefs about loving relationships of any sort, friendships, romantic relationships, I feel like specifically. But these limiting beliefs started in childhood, and it has to do with you believing like your value and your worth in connections comes from not who you are, but what you bring to the table. Maybe you feel like you didn't make enough money for them, or you weren't as successful, or you weren't attractive enough, or you weren't like it feels like there's a level you believe those things, though I don't think that that's actually has anything to do with anything. But I do feel like you're trying to go through like all of the ways you provided for this connection and figure out like, well, what was it that I didn't do or didn't have that made me not good enough for this person? And I feel like what it comes down to is more about this person, which again, we haven't looked in their energy yet, but I feel like it has more to do with this person than it has anything to do with your worth. Because I feel like this connection, it really made you doubt yourself. On some level, like it's really affecting your insecurities and making you really, really doubt yourself. Still, like even if this ended like a while back in your past, like it's still affecting how you feel about yourself and whether or not you feel like you are enough. Because it feels like you tried. You tried to make this work. Like you did everything you knew how to make this work. But again, I feel like it has nothing to do with you and the energy and effort that you put in. And I feel like it has everything to do with them. And I feel like we'll see that more when we tap into their energy. But there's the attachment, this devil that exists in this connection that we're talking about that is affecting you. It stems from this inner child energy. This fact that you believe or have learned that relationships have more to do with what you are instead of who you are, which isn't the case. Maybe for people who are searching for superficial relationships, sure. But when it comes to actually building like a deep, emotional, healthy connection, it comes down to who you are and the fact that you are deserving of love for who you are, not for what you are. Scorpio's side of this connection. And maybe they were looking for a what, and therefore your who wasn't enough. But that within itself is their problem, not yours, because that means they're not actually looking for love, they're looking for attachment. And there's a really big difference between those two. Okay. Scorpio's energy toward this person. Oh, that's what I just said. King of Pentacles in reverse, this being like kind of superficial. I don't think that was the message that needed to come out. Okay. Scorpio's energy toward this person, please. Scorpio's energy toward this person, please. I feel like the fact that this connection ended, and I'm going to go ahead and just say like it did, because it definitely feels like this connection is not currently in your life. But you have this Death with the Chariot in reverse and then this Magician in reverse. The fact that this connection ended and the way that it's affecting your feelings about yourself, like you feeling like you weren't good enough for them, makes you feel like you won't be good enough for anyone, or that you'll never be able to find the love that you deserve because, you know, if you tried your hardest in this connection and it wasn't enough, then how do you, like, if someone isn't able to see your worth and see your value, it's not that you are not enough. It is that you are, it's that person doesn't have the ability to recognize it. And that has nothing to do with you. And so I feel like there's a need to flip your perspective on this and remember that currently you are looking at this connection through the lens of your shadow, through the lens of your insecurity and your fear, which is super common. It happens when we experience being very triggered, and especially in relationships being some of the biggest triggers for our insecurities. This connection in particular, I feel like it really brought up like all of those insecurities that you had, like about not being good enough, to the surface, and almost like shined a spotlight on them. And so now you're looking at this connection like, man, like if I wasn't enough, or they didn't care about me enough, or they didn't love me enough, and you're causing that belief system to then affect how you think about what's going to be possible for you in your future. And I get that. I mean, that's super easy to do, but I also feel like what you need to see is that this was a one-sided connection. I feel like you gave way more to this than they did, and I feel like that doesn't mean that you weren't good enough for them. That means that they weren't able to give you what you deserve. It's not that you weren't able to give them what they wanted. It's that they weren't able to give you what you wanted. And that within itself should, make it a little bit easier for you to be like, you know what? I'm going to go get what I want. I'm going to realize that this has nothing to do with me, and I'm going to go get what I want and what I deserve, wherever that is. But I do feel like it's been really difficult for you to do that because of how triggering this connection has been. So let's see what this person is doing. Because I feel like at the end of the day, you have this jealousy card, right? You feel jealous about the fact that this person handled this the way they did. Maybe they weren't as affected by this, or they moved on and you can't, or something like that. But I feel like it's because your insecurities were really heavily triggered in this. But let's see. This person's energy towards Scorpio. This person's energy towards Scorpio. One more. This person's energy toward Scorpio, please. Where's that King of Wands? I really feel like you could be dealing with fire sign. But you also, you definitely don't have to be. Okay. 7 of Pentacles in reverse. Chariot. 7 of Wands in reverse. 10 of Wands in reverse. And the King of Wands. Okay. Okay. So it feels like they have some sort of burden, baggage that they have carried with them from a past, maybe past relationships or a past experience that they kind of like dumped on you. And I feel like you took that because you had a lot of love and care for this person. And it kind of feels like that set this precedent in this connection that like you were expected to like take care of them, or you were the one who was going to bear like the burden of the connection. Even if you look at these colors, like you have this dark orange with this like light orange, like it just feels like that looks red, but it's dark orange, I promise. It looks like that connection, it's like it all kind of fell on you in some way. Like you were expected to problem solve, or you were expected to be the one who initiated, or who, like maybe this person like had a bunch of criticisms of like all of the ways that you needed to be better in the connection, but then like it didn't do any work on themselves in the back end. So it kind of feels like they did a lot of projecting, is what I'm getting at. I feel like they projected a lot of their own insecurities on you, which is why I feel like it's not fair, because you're currently looking at this connection through the lens of your insecurity and your fear, that I feel like it's actually their insecurity and fear that they put on you. Their feelings of not being good enough, they projected onto you. And so, yeah, I don't feel like I feel like it has less to do with what it is, like with the fact that you weren't good enough for them. I'm not saying that you weren't good enough for them, but I feel like that's what you think. But I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it has everything to do with, like, they weren't good enough for them, almost. Like, they were viewing this connection through the lens of, like, their own insecurity, and kind of in a backwards way, like, made it yours. But not made it yours, because those insecurities existed in you already, just brought those to the surface. I'm pretty sure this person was put into your life to trigger the hell out of you. It's just kind of what it seems like. All right, this person's energy towards Scorpio. Nine of Cups, Three of Cups. Okay. They really wanted this to work. But I feel like they didn't have the tools on an emotional level to show up for this in the way that you needed. And so in a backwards way, it made it seem like, it's almost like they made you seem like you weren't good enough, but it's so, I mean, yeah, the truth of it is that they weren't able to give you what you needed emotionally, but then made it your problem. Because I don't think that they had, like, bad intentions in this necessarily. I think that they really struggled with their own insecurity. This person's energy towards Scorpio. This person's energy towards Scorpio. This person's energy. The Eight of Swords. See, ooh. Ten of Pentacles and Ten of Cups. So they're trapped in their own limiting belief system. And their limiting belief system keeps them in a place of kind of sabotaging things that are good for them. Now, it's interesting because they feel like this is a very mirrored connection in the sense that they didn't feel good enough for you on a subconscious level. You didn't feel good enough for them on a conscious or subconscious level. And those insecurities just caused things to... Because I don't necessarily know... It's like they wanted this with you. They wanted things to work out. They wanted this Ten of Cups. They wanted this Ten of Pentacles. But, like, then this Eight of Swords got in the way. So I want to know what this Eight of Swords is. Clarifying this Eight of Swords for this person's energy towards Scorpio. This King of Pentacles in reverse. This is exactly what I was saying. Okay, so that King of Pentacles in reverse came out, right? And I was saying that they were looking for a what, not a who. They were focused too much on superficial things. Not that you weren't enough for them superficially, but, like, no one can ever feel like if someone is looking for them to, like, if someone is looking for someone else to fulfill them in some way, shape, or form, that person is never going to be able to do that. And so they might have been looking for you to do that for them, to make them happy, to make them love themselves. And you simply weren't capable of that because no human being is capable of giving that to another person. Someone is capable of loving you while you figure it out yourself. That is absolutely possible. To give you a safe space to heal and find that love within you, that's absolutely possible. But no person can provide somebody with the fulfillment that exists within themselves. And that's what it feels like they were searching for in this. They were looking for this connection to be the fulfillment that they were missing within. So it felt like you weren't good enough for them because no one's good enough for them in that sense. No one's going to be able to provide for them what they're lacking in themselves. And so I feel like that's where there's like that, it's like that, I want to call it like a misconception, but there is, these fairy tale love stories. It's not that someone comes along and saves you from yourself. It's someone comes, if you're really like attracting the person that you're meant to be with, or that's, meant to be in your life at this time, that person comes along and creates a safe space for you to be able to heal. They're, vulnerable and open and able to communicate and able to take accountability themselves. And I feel like that's the biggest thing here, is it feels like everything in this was like always your fault. And they weren't taking accountability. They projected the hell out of, like, they projected the hell out of this. Like, they projected everything onto you. So it's not that you weren't good enough. It's that their expectations for someone to be able to fulfill every aspect of them emotionally and materially is unrealistic. This person's energy towards Scorpio. Unrealistic expectations. Look at that. Unrealistic expectations. And I feel like that's what led to this Tower. Then you have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. It's like they wanted you to provide all of this for them, but they didn't really want to give you anything in return. So that's the other thing, is in a healthy relationship and the person that is supposed to be in your life, you give and they give. It's a 50-50. No, it's not 50-50 all the time. Sometimes you only have 30 to give. They pick up 70, but then sometimes you give 70 and they give 30. And that's a healthy reciprocation. I feel like you were constantly giving 100 and they were giving 0, or maybe like 95-5. Like, you were giving so much to this. And they were expecting more without giving you anything in return. And I laugh because that's ridiculous, Scorpio. It makes sense that you got so frustrated with this. But I do feel like you're stuck on this because you feel like you gave so much and it wasn't enough. Yeah, of course it freaking wasn't enough. No one can fulfill anybody to that extent. It feels like this person is pretty selfish. I don't know if maybe they've done some work on themselves since this connection. I don't know. But it does feel like, at least in this connection, they were looking at it through a pretty selfish lens. This person's energy towards Scorpio. On top of this, they didn't know how to communicate. I feel like this person, like, on top of all of this, they were very emotionally unavailable and unable to communicate. I thought that Page of Cups was upright. Is it? No, it's definitely not. Maybe it is. Yeah, it is. Okay. Doesn't matter. It's a very similar message. But I don't feel like this person had the ability to give you what it is that you needed and deserve. Sorry, I'm really looking at this fish here. It's like you showed up with like everything for this person. Like, you had like a feast for them, and like a sword or something. And then they show up with this freaking fish. You give them like the world and they give you like this fish and you're like, well, how am I supposed to do with this fish? I don't know. It just feels like they gave so little, and it's like, oh, it's comical the way that it looks coming through energy wise. I'm not trying to like laugh at this person. It's a funny energy to look at when you look at their expectations and how it affected you. But with the Page of Swords in reverse, man, I hope that doesn't make anyone mad. Page of Swords in reverse, they didn't know how to communicate. They didn't know how to communicate their feelings either. So I feel like you were always left in the dark. Like, I feel like you constantly maybe were left feeling like you didn't know how they felt, or you didn't know whether or not they were going to like be there the next day, or like if you guys had plans, you didn't know if they were going to show up. Like you couldn't rely on them, and they didn't know how to communicate either. I feel like it's really important for you to see that this person, it's not that you weren't good enough for them, it's that they weren't ready for you. And that I feel like is such an important message to bring through in this reading, Scorpio. All right, one more for this person. This is a long reading. One more for this person's energy towards Scorpio. This person's energy towards Scorpio, please. This person's energy towards Scorpio. I feel like they were really good at telling you all of the things that bothered them about this connection, and they weren't very good at telling you about all of the things that they liked about this connection. And I feel like that's why you've been left with so much insecurity and fear and doubt in yourself, is because I do feel like this person was really good at pointing out like what they considered your flaws, but not so good at pointing out all of the ways that you were there for them, all of the things you gave to them, all of the ways you showed up for them. And so that's why I feel like you've been left feeling like you're not enough. And I do feel like there's more on this devil, because I think that that's definitely playing a deeper role too. There could have been like addiction problems or something else involved too with this person. But I don't know. I definitely feel like they, like with the Ace of Cups and the Temperance in reverse, it's like they were very good at expressing frustration. But I don't feel like they ever made you feel loved or cared about or like enough. And that's not fair to you. Anyone who makes you feel that way is not ready for you. And it has nothing to do with your worth. I get why it feels the way it does. Like, I really do, especially looking at how the energies interact. But that isn't fair to you. All right, before I hop on over to the extended, where I'm going to clarify this jealousy with the devil card, pull 9 different messages, then I have an advice card to pull at the end. I want to reiterate this announcement that I won't shut up about the summer workshop series happening. The first session is happening June 30th, which is like a week from when this video releases on Saturday. It's a week from yesterday. So this workshop series is all about taking your power back, stepping fully into your power, and creating the life of your dreams. If you watch my channel, then you know that is absolutely up my alley. So when it's being put on by my friend / mentor / spiritual confidant. She is a transformative life and wellness coach, and she's very, very good at what she does. And she's taking her skills to this workshop. She's taking it from one-on-one coaching to this workshop. And when she told me about it, and it's only $20 for all 4 sessions, so it's $5 a session. When she told me about it, I was like, that's amazing. I will be sharing that on my channel, like screaming it from the rooftops on my channel, because I do think that it could be very beneficial for a lot of people, including myself. I'm going to be in it. I'm excited to see what's in there for me, because I feel very heavily guided to this myself, as well as to share it with others. So if you have any interest in that whatsoever, the link to it is, or the link to the information about it is in the description box of the video that I've linked below. At the very top, it says announcement video, taking your power back workshop. Click on that video. In that description box is all of the information that you need on it, including the link to register and her contact information in case you want to reach out for any reason. All right, Scorpio, thank you so much, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey. All right, bye, Scorpio.